My name's Matt Hagman. As Laura said, I've been covering the county for the past year and a half. And it's certainly been a fascinating beat, and this is a fascinating time in the county. And this is, as we all know, at County Hall, there has been limited turnover. In the last 16 years, we've seen one incumbent beaten, and actually the last person to do that was the person who's in this seat right now, Katie Sorensen. And now we've got the one and only wide open race without an incumbent, perhaps the most competitive race for the county this year. What we're going to do is an environmental focus, but at the end, though, we will open it up for non-environmental questions as well. We'll start with introductory remarks from each of you, about 2 minutes, and then what we'll do is I'll launch into some questions. 1.5-minute responses, we can do that. If someone cares to offer a rebuttal, they can do that. And then also we'll have questions on cards from the audience. Does that sound good?
Yeah, unfortunately we only have this one microphone, so you're going to have to share it and pass it on for the introductions. And I guess we'll start here with Al.
We haven't fought over the mic yet, so. Hello, welcome, thank you for coming. My name is Albert Harum Alvarez.
Don't you dare, I'll kick you in the
I'm
ass.
going to ask you to learn more about me by referring to my website. I don't want to give my standard introduction tonight, so you can take a look at electalbert.com and learn more about me and my history and environmental accomplishments stretch back 20 years. I'd like to start tonight with a focus on a story. It's one that I looked for in the library before coming in. It's one of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's collected nine short story collections. She writes about what it was like in the 20s during the land boom. And she tells a story of folks buying a property in downtown Miami and then driving out US 1, out through this district, and eventually ending up in the Everglades. Now, it was the dry season, because of course that's when they would sell swampland, because it was dry. And the story describes a situation that was towards the beginning of our history of booms and busts. They always involve the environment. They always do the environment bad, and it's still happening. After nearly 90 years from that story, after all kinds of attempts to change the way we do development, it's still going wrong. And right now, we're in the midst of one of those valleys, one of those bust periods, and there have been a bunch of them in those 90 years. I think it's time that we solve this problem. It's clear that right now, we have a situation where it's too easy to build in the wrong place. Now, the way we talk about that is to say, hold the line. Because holding the line means don't build out in our well fields, don't build on our farmland, don't build in the wrong place. What we have not yet addressed is how to build in the right place. That is my second half of my land use platform. Was that a buzzer from me? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that in terms of the rules, so you gave a little. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about that later, how to make sure that we build in the communities in our neighborhood where things are not so good. That's what we should be building instead of in the wrong place. Thank you.
Yeah, so just very quickly, so our timer is right here, so she will hold up the sign when we get to 20 seconds.
I'm Danny Marmerstein. I want to thank Matt for that great article this morning. Just a quick clarification. I didn't just get into the political arena now. I've been doing this for 18 years, as you can see on my website, just not entering the seat. A couple questions. How many people here, honestly, have not committed themselves to a candidate? If you haven't, raise your hand. If you don't know yet who you're voting for, raise your hand. Excellent. I say that because I'm curious. So many people come here in support of people that they know. I'm curious about how many people come here and really don't know what's still to be done. Albert addressed it the second half of how can you do it? Not what can you do. You can see what we're all about. You'll hear what we're all about. But how can you do it? And I'm going to tell you how I can do it differently. Number one, I have the same sort of conventional thinking as far as management and overseeing of large companies as every other candidate here. What I also have is another half of me, or another part of me, I should say, that's very creative. very artistic. I'm a musician. I think out of the box. I think that's very important to be able to get people like Besson or whoever this police guy is that they've now relieved of his duties and retired. They should get roll off of the commission. They aren't doing it. Why not? Because nobody's thinking properly out of the box. He has no business still being there. And a third component, which is my spiritual side. I don't wear my religion on my sleeve, but I wake up every morning and thank God for giving me life that I can serve others. We do that with our congregation. That's what we want to do on this county-wide. That's why I believe that I would be the best fitted for this. Any one of us can be in that seat. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, and you can see if you just go to the meetings. Thank you very much. Danny Marmerstein, DannyForMiami.com.
Thank you, Danny, Albert, and I want to thank the UEL, Laura Reynolds with the Tropical Audible Society, and obviously Matt, thank you for the Miami Herald. It's been my pleasure to be part of this exciting election process. It's very important. This is going to be a leadership seat. This is going to be, it's more than just a swing seat, and the person who occupies this seat is really going to make a difference over these many, many years. We're at crisis point here at Miami-Dade County. Whether or not you want to say things are going well or things are going poorly, obviously there's a lot of work to be done, and we all agree about that. I believe I'm uniquely qualified for this seat. I believe that we all share a passion for government, a passion for our area, a passion to serve our fellow man and woman. I think what we really need to look at is visioning for the future. What do we want to see? Why are we doing this? And I think all of us are in this for the right reasons. We want to make sure we have a place where our children can grow up and their children can grow up and not just become a temporary place to live until you can get to a college and roost somewhere else with better opportunities. We want the opportunities to be here. We want a place where we can get to and from work. We want a place to where, my goodness, I came from a community where we paid mitigation. Let's just talk about that for a minute. You know, we're called a rich area. We paid mitigation to the county, but you know what? When you think about it, the county pays mitigation to the state, and the state basically pays to the entire nation. We don't get our tax dollars back. We need a commitment for the next person that occupies the seat to go back and make sure we get our tax dollars back here, because we all know we have unique problems that need to be addressed, and we all know government isn't free. Services come from employees. They don't come from vending machines. There's an attack on the employees right now. That is not right. What we need to do is set some very solid policies. And I think tonight, through the various questions, I think we'll see some separation here. I think we're going to see where people stand. And I think it's very important. If you've made up your mind, I think you ought to open up your mind tonight and really see, not just for yourself, but for your candidate. Thank you.